So this video is going to be about going back to work and how I feel about that and everything. Somebody requested this video that I do a video about going back to work as a nurse. When I went back to work with Ella, I was working night shift. I was working 7P to 7A, so that was really hard for us because some days we had to get someone to watch Ella for like 2 or 3 hours because my husband worked till 9 and then I'd have to be at work at 7. So like there was a time there that we didn't have anybody to watch her, and daycare closes at 7:30. So this time it's going to be a little easier. Normally I work 4/10s and I work from 5:30 in the morning till 4 or 6 to 4:30. We do have to pick up an on-call shift once a month, and we have to pick up like a late shift once a month. So the late shift is from for me is from 8 to 6:30. If I was an 8-hour person, it would be from 10 to 6:30, which sometimes I wish that I was like an 8-hour person because then I could go in later. But then again, I don't like working 5 days a week. I like having one day off during the week to get laundry done or grocery shop or just get things done, because I know both of them will be at daycare. Now some days I will, or some weeks I will have Hannah here at home with me if I don't have anything to do, but I will try to, in between her naps and everything, try to clean the house or do laundry or go out grocery shopping while she's sleeping in her carrier or whatever, because that's kind of like what I do now. And then of course, like, she's going to be in daycare, and when Ella started daycare, she was 9 weeks old, and Hannah is starting daycare at 8 weeks old. So I'm kind of sad that I didn't get an extra week like I did with Ella, because I just didn't have the PTO for it to do it, and I just never really built back the PTO that I had but when I went on maternity leave with her, because I just used it for vacations, or if I was called off, or if I left an hour earlier, or you know, whatever. So I think this time it's going to be a little easier, you know, going back to work, but it's going to be a little harder leaving her at daycare. I already know which room she's going to be in. She's going to the same daycare as Ella is, so I already know which room she's going to be in, and I did that daycare necessity video and showed you guys all the things that they require at daycare, at her daycare, and that's mostly what they require at all daycares. It used to be that daycare would provide diapers, wipes. If you were formula feeding, they would give you formula. Now it's totally different. I know they have a program there where people who are financially need it will get it, but we are not in that state, and I don't formula feed anyways. I'm breastfeeding, so her milk basically is free anyways. But yeah, I don't have a crazy schedule, so I'm not too worried this time as I was last time. My husband was at home with her all night long last time, which really made me nervous because I didn't know like if she was not sleeping the night when I had her. But then as soon as I went back to work and she went into daycare, she miraculously slept through the night. The first day that she was at daycare that night, she slept from 8 to 6:30. So we're kind of hoping that that's what happens this time. Because as it stands right now, she doesn't go to bed most nights until 10 or 10:30, and then she gets up at 4, which is kind of a good schedule to be on, because that's, you know, basically what I was doing before she was born. I was going to bed at 10 and then waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, or I'd go to bed at 9. Just really depended on how tired I was, because I try to get at least 7 hours of sleep. That's one of the things that makes me nervous about going back to work, is how she's gonna act at night, and if I'm gonna go to work super tired, which I'm used to anyways, because when I was pregnant with her, I was super tired at work, just from lack of sleep and waking up a lot during the night. And so that's the one thing I'm worried about too, is just getting enough sleep and being able to work a whole 10-hour day. I don't really take naps during the day now. While I'm maternity leave, I don't take naps during the day, so I kind of want to prepare myself, you know, for that. I don't want to take a nap during the day, and then at that same time every day I'm tired. So I have been just when she sleeps, I've just been like doing housework or making videos, or doing whatever, or eating lunch or taking a shower. And it used to be that she slept a lot more. Now she's up more, of course, because she's older. She's 7 weeks old, and she's usually up in the mornings, and then she'll take like a little nap, and then she's up in the afternoons and on into the evenings, and then she'll kind of snooze like in the evenings when we're eating dinner. She'll kind of snooze then, but and then she'll go to bed like around 10, like I was saying. So to sleep from 10 to 4 is really good for 7 weeks old. I wish she'd go to bed like a little earlier, and maybe when she goes to daycare, maybe that will help her to stay awake even more during the day, because sometimes she cat naps, and if she sleeps the entire day, then I'm really in trouble, because then she wakes up during the night and stays up for like 4 hours from like 1 to 4. So anyways, sleeping is something that makes me nervous. The other thing that makes me kind of nervous is like how I'm gonna do it all. Like, now I have 2 kids, and how am I gonna like pump and wash all the pump parts and prepare all the bottles for the next day, because I will be pumping, and then I'm gonna have to come home and scald the milk and put it in the fridge and then freeze it, and then I'm gonna have to get out the other milk to thaw it, and then you put it in the bottles, which I'll do that like around 8 or 9 o'clock at night, so then it'll last until 8 the next night. I'm preparing probably like 4 bottles of breast milk, just to be on the safe side, just to see like what she will drink during the day, because right now I'm just breastfeeding her during the day, and she only gets like 2 bottles. So it's gonna kind of switch up when I go back to work. I'm gonna try to breastfeed her in the morning, and then I'm gonna try to breastfeed her when I get home from work, and then I'm gonna try to breastfeed her either before dinner or after dinner. Probably I'm gonna try to breastfeed her after dinner, like her 7 o'clock feeding. And then of course before she goes to bed, we do a bottle now, which I don't know if I'm going to breastfeed her or bottle feed her, when I go back to work at bedtime. It just all depends on how tired I am, I guess. So anyways, but that's basically what I'm going to try to do with like breastfeeding and all that. And then I think that's really about it. If you guys have any questions for me, let me know. Somebody was asking me how I built my supply up of breast milk. And basically I just would, after breastfeeding Ella or Hannah, I would pump like about 30 minutes to an hour afterwards, or sometimes I would pump directly afterwards if I was really hugely engorged. And I would do that about twice a day. I started out once a day, and now I'm doing it twice a day, and that's like in the mornings sometimes, and then in the evenings. So I like when I get up, if I'm hugely engorged, then I will pump, but if I'm not, then I'll just let it go. Like this morning I attempted to pump, but she had been eating, so I only got like I think 3 ounces. So anyways, that's what I did to like to get my supply up for work. And then I just I would freeze it at, like, I tried to get 6 ounces per day so that I could fill one of the bags up, the last in a bag, so I could freeze one bag each day. But I think like I started like back in July, the 2nd week of July maybe. So I've been doing it for about a month, so about 30 days I would say, and I've got about, I don't know, like 25 bags maybe, 20 bags, something like that, because some days I wouldn't get enough to make a whole bag, because I also do the bottles too, so I would only have enough to fill a bottle that day, because I like to give her a bottle before dinner, because my husband can feed her when he gets home from work. While I cook dinner, he feeds her a bottle, and then after dinner I pump. So that's how I've kind of been doing it. But anyways, if you guys have any more questions for me or have another video request, let me know. And thanks for watching.